President Donald Trump's recent move to impose sweeping tariffs has sparked chaos in both global markets and domestic policy discussions. What was touted as a bold strategy to protect American workers and industry has instead ignited a self-inflicted economic crisis. The fallout from these tariffs, which were introduced under the banner of Liberation Day, is deeply troubling and reflects a broader sense of confusion and miscalculation from the administration. Stock markets have plunged, billions of dollars have been wiped off the S&P 500, and financial experts are warning that the economic repercussions could be severe and long-lasting. What is most alarming, however, is the apparent lack of clarity or competence in the White House's approach, as conflicting messages emerge from the president and his inner circle. Trump's response to the growing crisis has been nothing short of disconcerting. Despite the chaos unfolding across global markets and the tangible economic pain being felt by millions, he insisted that everything was going well and that the stock market would boom. This misguided optimism stands in stark contrast to the reality on the ground, where the tariffs are already causing severe disruption. Trump's insistence that this is merely a bargaining tactic raises significant concerns about his grasp on the economic consequences of his actions. His assertion that tariffs give the U.S. great power to negotiate seems at odds with the dramatic volatility and the rapidly deteriorating economic conditions that have followed. The immediate effects of Trump's tariff policy are already clear. In the wake of the tariff announcement, major automakers like Stellantis were forced to halt production in plants across Mexico and Canada, temporarily laying off workers in the U.S. In a matter of days, the ripple effects of these decisions will spread, potentially leading to more layoffs, particularly in manufacturing sectors reliant on cross-border trade. What Trump has framed as a path to revitalizing American manufacturing could very well lead to further economic hardship. Experts warn that these tariffs could lead to widespread price hikes for consumer goods, exacerbating inflationary pressures that the president had previously promised to reduce. The pain being inflicted on ordinary Americans, who will likely see their cost of living rise, raises serious questions about the long-term viability of this strategy. Moreover, Trump's approach to economic management has been consistently erratic. While some of his advisors have claimed that these tariffs are a means to negotiate better trade deals, the president himself has at times suggested that these measures are not meant as temporary leverage, but rather as a permanent shift in policy. The confusing and contradictory statements coming from the White House only add to the sense that no one, including those at the top of the administration, truly understands the full consequences of the policies they are implementing. The very foundation of U.S. economic stability appears to be at risk, as these tariffs continue to sow uncertainty across industries and markets alike. The lack of foresight and preparation has also been evident in the way the tariffs were structured. The methods used to calculate and implement the tariffs were poorly explained, and many experts have pointed out that they make little sense in the context of global trade. The complexity of the tariff formula only deepens the confusion and frustration among U.S. trading partners, some of whom are already considering retaliatory measures. The hasty decision-making, coupled with an apparent lack of strategic thinking, has led to significant anger from both domestic and international critics, including Wall Street traders, who have seen billions in market value evaporate almost overnight. While Trump's core supporters may still rally behind him, seeing these tariffs as a necessary disruption to the status quo, the broader implications for the U.S. economy are deeply troubling. These tariffs may indeed bring some short-term benefits to certain industries, but they are also likely to trigger a wave of economic instability. The most significant risk is that the pain felt by consumers in the short term may prove to be long-lasting, with price hikes, supply chain disruptions, and a general slowdown in economic activity continuing to affect ordinary Americans. Furthermore, the broader geopolitical consequences of these tariffs are significant. Trump's policies are not just a threat to U.S. domestic markets, but are also sending shockwaves through international trade relations. Countries across the world are already questioning the U.S.'s reliability as a trading partner, and some are considering retaliatory tariffs or alternative trade agreements. This could lead to a fragmentation of global economic systems, further destabilizing the already fragile global economy. Trump's disregard for the complexities of international trade agreements only adds to the sense of isolation that the U.S. may soon face. The timing of these tariffs, coming just months after Trump inherited a thriving economy from his predecessor, only adds to the sense of mismanagement. The markets, which were previously riding high under President Biden, have now plunged into uncertainty. Trump's handling of this economic transition raises significant doubts about his ability to steer the country through such a crisis. The question that looms large is whether this tariff war is truly necessary or if it's a reckless gamble that could end up damaging the economy for years to come. Looking ahead, the real test will be how this tariff crisis unfolds in the coming weeks and months. If the economic pain continues to intensify, Trump's support could begin to erode. The potential for a recession, coupled with the growing disillusionment over rising living costs, could undermine his political standing. It is also possible that the economic disruptions will push moderate voters, who were previously attracted to Trump's business acumen and promises of a booming economy, to reconsider their support. As the situation develops, the White House may find it increasingly difficult to sustain its optimistic narrative, especially if the economic damage proves to be more than temporary. In conclusion, the chaos and confusion surrounding Trump's tariff policy are deeply concerning. What was presented as a bold move to reinvigorate American industry has instead created significant uncertainty and economic harm. The conflicting messages from the White House, coupled with the disastrous impact on global markets and domestic industries, raise serious questions about Trump's competence in managing the U.S. economy. If this crisis continues to escalate, it could lead to far-reaching consequences for the American people, the global economy, and Trump's political future. The economic fallout is just beginning, and its long-term effects could be far more damaging than the president and his supporters are willing to admit.